Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and the latest motion for sanctions against Schwab, and we're also going to be hearing about a potential Schwab rep who stated that MMTLP was trading at 100 times its market price. So if we do a quick calculation on this, then we're looking at $2.90 times by 100, which gives a minimum share price of $290 per share. So stay tuned for that. Then we're also going to be looking at Micron Earnings, doing a quick review of the weekly watch list. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So from Market Watch, we can see here that the Dow Jones record run is leaving transport behind, and generally the broader market does better when the Dow Jones outperforms the Dow Jones transport sector. So if we will also look at a headline from Market Watch, we can see right now stocks are poised for the first September gain in 5 years. So September is generally one of the worst trading months of the year. However, this year has broken that trend, which is good news. So this could potentially signal that good times are ahead. So if we have a look at earnings this week, I think the big two that we are looking at specifically in the Discord will be Micron and Costco. So we are going to be looking at Micron earnings shortly, but what I'd now like to share with you is a link for you to have a look at my buy and sell alerts, and what I posted earlier is that I recently sold one of my swing trade stocks for a 22% plus return, and I've just recently invested in a new long-term stock which I believe is potentially or was a good buying opportunity. So as soon as I bought this, it did start to go up. The dividend yield on this is 8.52%, so this will be one of my long-term holds. So there is a link there, go ahead and check that out. And the website that you can check my buy and sell alerts at is Savvy Trader. So before we look at MMTLP, I'd like to do a quick overview of expected earnings for Micron, and Micron is going to report earnings on Wednesday, September the 25th after the close of market. The general consensus is an earnings estimate as $1.15 based on revenue of $7.65 billion. So what's impressive about this is that this represents a 90.8% year-on-year revenue growth, which is exceptional, and we can certainly see here that the overall earnings estimates have been revised higher since the late company's recent impressive earnings results. So we'll have a look at the long-term chart here. We can see at one point it was close to $160. Right now there has been a significant pullback, and if we have a look at the general green trend line here, we can see it looks to be at support, so potentially indicating a rebound and reversal back up, and we can also see the MACD is also curling upwards. So let's have a look at overall price targets. So the lowest price target is 67, highest price target is $225. So looking at an average upside of 70.94%. So I do believe this is a great long-term stock. And if we have a look at the analyst ratings, we can see from a total of 27 ratings, 24 are a buy, 2 are a hold, and only 1 is a sell. And if we break these down, we can see in almost all of them are recommending a strong buy. So great potential here for Micron. So let's now have a look at the latest developments for MMTLP, and what Scott has posted is he's now sharing the find out part, and the first link is the US District Court objecting to Schwab's motion for a stay. So in terms of one correction, or should we say mistake that was made, but it can be addressed later, and that is with regard to Rule 7150 to be enforced to get people paid who had trades marked too late to cancel. So in previous videos we have seen these amounting to the thousands of dollars, and these trades were executed and cleared but not paid. So let's see what happens if there is any positive progress for that. So again, quick reminder, it's Scott versus Ari Rubenstein, GTS, Schwab, FINRA and the SEC. So let's move straight in and have a look at the motion. So this is going to be a motion for sanctions for spoliation of evidence, objection to a motion for stay for arbitration, and a motion for preservation of order pursuant to FRCP 26 Part C. So basically Scott is looking for the court for sanctions against Schwab. This is for spoliation of evidence and looking to get grant injunctive relief against Schwab, also to deny Schwab a motion for stay in favor of sending the dispute to arbitration. So it does get a lot more interesting. And in the next section here, we can see that Schwab have twice admitted to destroying evidence critical to Scott's claims. And in terms of the overall potential shareholders affected by Schwab, in the point at the bottom, which I think is interesting, we're potentially looking at 7,493 investors from Schwab, i.e. the clients, at one time, and this is based on the date 9th of December 2022, who will have been affected. If we look at the next section here, in terms of Schwab again, it appears that Schwab have deleted audio recordings that are absolute beyond a reasonable doubt evidence that their employee by the name of Ron Fleming did acknowledge that TDA was instrumental in requesting the U3 halt in MMTLP. So basically, Ron Fleming represents the organization. So what he states is obviously critical because it's based on his inside information and because he works there as well. So it goes on to say that Ron stated that it was trading 100 times the lit market in the dark pools. And he also states here, quite interesting, the U3 was done according to Ron Fleming because the share price bore no relation to the actual share value. So again, inverted commas, so it's a direct quote there. And Fleming stated that we had to protect ourselves, i.e. the broker, and that was why they requested the U3 halt. So again, an audio recording of this, I think, would have been dynamite. And in section 91 here, we can see that Schwab will not release the audio clearly as part of a cover-up. So obviously this is certainly incredibly incriminating. And he goes on to say that the destruction of evidence has been confirmed on 16th of September 2024. So again, I think it's extremely clear that this destruction of evidence is obviously in breach of the regulations. So under section 4 here, prejudice and impact. And I think this is one of the most important and interesting sections. He states here that the emails and audio recordings were critical in documenting the claim for damages. So apparently these have gone missing, and in the audio, Ron Fleming from the broker-dealer states that MMTLP was trading at 100 times its lit price, and obviously Scott has calculated this in terms of a minimum share price from TDA Schwab that was being seen on 8th of December 2022. So remember, this is an absolute minimum. 100 multiplied by $2.90, giving us a minimum $290 per share. So again, that's looks like what is the absolute minimum. And if we go on to have a look at the footnote here under section 9, Scott argues that he should not go into arbitration. TDA Schwab clients should not be getting anything less than $290 per share. Scott is going to add in for the court and the judge to say that he has video proof. There were huge bids and ask spreads and accepted orders for up to $25,000 a share being created. And again, I think these have been shared on the channel in terms of some of the images and the screenshots confirming this. And in part B here, Scott is offered to sell his shares to TDA for $5,000 and then up to $10,000, but TDA refused. So Scott has sent Schwab a demand letter for damages, and the only response was to state that FINRA was responsible for the U3 halt. But again, who was on the U3 panel? So that's an important question as well. So Scott has sent them a list of questions, but they refused to answer. So certainly don't want to communicate. So let's finish off by moving on to have a look at the requested relief. And Scott is requesting sanctions due to the spoliation of evidence, and I think that certainly seems to be very clear. Impose sanctions against Schwab in the form of immediate monetary fines in the amount of 20 hours of legal work from Scott, based on $300 per hour, and then also issue a global preservation order. And the last section here, D, deny Schwab a motion for stay in favor of arbitration and allow Scott to amend the complaint against Schwab to include claims for breach of contract, reliance and market manipulation. So again, I certainly hope that the judge looks at this from a common sense point of view and asks these tough questions to Schwab and see how they respond. Finally, let's finish off by having a quick review of the previous week's weekly watch list. So if you see, the first stock that we called and the one that we were watching was Intel, ticker symbol INTC. So this was a good call where it was up 9.1% on the week, and there was some good news. If we look at the previous video, the good news shared in the previous video was with regard to Qualcomm, who reached out to Intel regarding a potential takeover. So Intel did start moving up. We also called out RH, up 4.5% on the week. MSTR, that was up 5.8% on the week. APPN, that was up 1.5% on the week. TSAT, that was had a strong finish on Friday, closing up 11.8%. PLCE, that was up over 50% on the Monday and also up 10.3% on the week. So again, good call there, good opportunity to take profits. TNON is Tenon, also been featured in a number of previous videos. Extremely volatile stock, up over 47% on the Thursdays. Good chance there to take profits, but again, it has been moving up and down quite significantly, and it was overall down 32% on the week. So not a good idea to hold these stocks long term. They are based on short-term swing trades. So if you would like to get details of the next weekly watch list, as well as due diligence research and a copy of the daily stock alerts, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.